one of the countries nearest to Florida, Cuba. Recently, President Obama lifted the embargo. Is that a good idea, bad idea? We just heard recently that Carnival Cruise Lines is going to start taking cruises to Cuba. We're going back and forth now. The president recently in Cuba. Good idea, bad idea, why?
It's a personal offense to me that the Cuba policy is changing. The embargo, of course, has not quite been lifted. That has to be done by Congress. But nonetheless, the idea that our president is just doesn't negotiate in the best interest of the Cuban citizens, the American citizens from our perspective. He is essentially acquiesced to everything the Castros wanted, and we have got nothing in return. But then again, that is his continued policy negotiating.
What would you do in this situation?
Well, you simply have to get, we want to do business with Cuba, but under conditions that we believe are good for us. And
conditional agreements.
Conditional agreements, sure. That he has to stop. The day he landed in Cuba, they arrested dissidents that day, dragged them off the streets. So how does that play into a free society that we're trying to help create? I don't understand his policies, but then again, in November, that'll all change.
What do you think about you remaining optimistic? You're remaining optimistic.
I am.
What do you think about the travel? You know, not necessarily for business and economy, which definitely helps both the United States, Florida, and Cuba, but the travel is opening up. So many Floridians want to go to Cuba. So many Cuban Americans are here in Florida.
First of all, there was travel that had been allowed to go to Cuba for families, reunions, and so forth for years. So opening up the policy was just another way to generate more dollars and allow the Cubans access to our financial system.
Do you think it was politically motivated for that reason?
I believe that some very large people in business want to do business with Cuba under any circumstances and want the Cuba open. I don't agree with that policy.